Hi there, welcome to Jujubee DIY. I'm Sarah, thanks so much for joining me today. Today I'm participating in Try It Tuesday. I've made 3 awesome crafts inspired by amazing creators, so stay tuned to see what I made. For our first DIY, I am taking the sign that was gifted to me from a friend. I took all the vinyl off of it and gave it a good cleaning. Then I gave it 2 coats of the Waverly chalk paint in the color moss. Next I'm taking the Waverly chalk paint in the color mineral and a dry chippy brush, and I'm going to distress this whole sign. The inspiration for this project came from Sammy over at Unicorn Dust Designs. She made an adorable Days Until Christmas sign, and when I saw her make that, I knew I had to recreate one for my own home. So that's what we're making today. I'll link Sammy's channel down in the description box below. Once I was happy with the amount of distressing that I did on my sign, I'm going to tape off a 4.5 by 4.5 inch square and use this chalkboard paint from Dollar Tree. All you need is 1 coat and you've got a perfect little chalkboard to write your days until Christmas. I'm just kind of pouncing along the edges just to kind of seal in that tape before I just go painting it all in, just to kind of help with the bleed. And here's the reveal. This is just so satisfying. I love this part. I used my Cricut to cut out a stencil of these snowflakes. So I had a hard time here because I had not fuzzed up my transfer tape. I just used like contact paper to transfer my stencils, and the stencil itself isn't super sticky, and so I was having a hard time getting that transfer tape off, but I ended up just keeping at it, and it was a slow process, but I got it to work. Next, we're going to take a makeup sponge. I picked this one up from the Dollar Tree a while back. It's a pretty dense makeup sponge, and I've noticed lately the ones that I've found have been pretty soft. So if you can't find the more dense makeup brushes, definitely check out Walmart or maybe, some like a drugstore to see if you can find the more dense makeup sponges. I think that those work a lot better for this technique. What I do is I load up that makeup sponge with the paint that I want to use, and then I dab off most of it onto the plate. And then I go in onto my stencil, just using an up and down pouncing motion just to add layers of paint. I start off really super light and add layers until I'm happy with the amount of coverage that I've got on my stencil. And for me, this has been the best technique to get super crisp lines and reduce the amount of bleeding that I get on my stencils. And of course, we have to see the reveal of the stencil removal. So I'll just pull that up. I actually pulled that stencil up while the paint was still wet, the last layer anyways. And then I'll just go in and pull off all of the other little bits and pieces that are left. Next, I'm just taking some like a 100 grit sandpaper, and I'm just distressing the snowflakes a little tiny bit. Next, I cut out a stencil from my Cricut, and I cut out Days Until and then Christmas. So I will link all my Cricut stuff in the description box down below, and hopefully you'll be able to use these if you have Cricut access. I'm using the Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant and that same pouncing technique to do the Days Until, and then with the Christmas part, I go in with the Waverly chalk paint in the color Crimson. So instead of boring you with stenciling all that stuff, you'll see that part in the final reveal as to what it looks like. Now we have to prime our chalkboard. I'm just taking a regular piece of white chalk and I'm just going to rub that all over that chalkboard paint. This makes it so that when you write something on there, it's not permanent. So you have to prime your chalkboard before you use it. And now I'm just wiping up the extra chalk that rubbed off when I rubbed all that chalk off. Just cleaning it up a little bit so it looks nice. And then our chalkboard is ready to go. I wanted to add a little bit of decoration to the corner of my sign, so I'm going to take some of this glittered greenery that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to just adhere a couple of sprigs to this corner. Then I found these cute frosted berries at my Dollar Tree. I haven't seen those before, so maybe they were around last Christmas time, but I didn't see them at my Dollar Tree. So I was excited to find these because they were super pretty, and I really liked the size of them. Sometimes those smaller berries just don't make enough impact. Next, I'm going to adhere some of these little mini pine cones to the top of this, just to kind of cover that corner and hide any bits and pieces that we don't want to see. Look at that sparkle, it's so pretty. Here's a look at how my sign turned out. I am so incredibly happy with it. I think this is going to be so fun to hang up, and my kids are going to love to change the day and count down to Christmas. So thank you so much, Sammy, for the inspiration. I love it. As I mentioned before, today is Try It Tuesday. That's hosted every month by Sammy over at Unicorn Dust Designs. If you've not been to her channel before, go check her out. She's an amazing crafter and has the most beautiful crafts. And with this challenge comes a playlist with lots of inspiration from awesome and amazing creators. So make sure that you go check out the playlist, check out Sammy's channel. I'll leave both links in my description box down below. For our second DIY, I'm going to take one of these sleds from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to take off that top layer of paper. And then, because this is one of those heavier duty MDF board signs, I'm just going to spritz the paper that's left on there with water and let it sit for a minute. And then I'm going to take a scraper and I'm just going to scrape all that off, and it comes right off super easy. So I'm going to continue doing that until all of that paper and glue is off. Next, we're going to remove the runners from the back of the sled. They were broken and I needed to replace them anyways. And then I'm going to give the front of this a real quick sanding with some 100 grit sandpaper, just to smooth out any little bumps and any paper that might still be left on there. Once I'm happy with the sanding, I'm going to go in with the Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, and I'm going to give that a coat. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to go in with a second coat of the same chalk paint. But before this layer dries, I'm going to take a dry chippy brush and some white chalk paint, and I'm just going to drag that white chalk paint right through that wet black paint. And it's going to give this kind of grain, soft look, which is just what I was hoping for this project. This project was inspired by Christina Elizabeth, and I will link her channel and the video that I got this inspiration from in my description box down below. So here's a little tip for you. If you have one of these, I don't know what they're called. It's like a wrapping paper knife, or I don't even know what it's called. I've had it in my stash for a long time. But it's got this little blade on it, and you can just cut your transfer tape or your vinyl, anything, really super easy. So next we're going to put our vinyl onto our sled, and I missed a little part there, so I'm just going to take that out real quick. And I'm just going to adhere this super sweet saying right onto my sled. So I got this from Cricut Design Space, but if you don't have a Cricut, have no fear. You can always print something off and use, you know, like rub the chalk on the back of it and then trace it on and then paint it. I know that takes a little bit more time, but it's definitely possible to make something like this. Or you might be able to find a vinyl decal on Etsy. There's lots of people that are wanting to make a few dollars and they'll sell stuff like this. So, you know, make sure you check out Etsy, or you might even be able to find some pretty big stickers like this at, you know, craft stores. Next, I'm going to take some of these jumbo craft sticks from Walmart and I'm going to paint them with a crimson paint. I can't find these Walmart jumbo craft sticks. They have been out for months at my Walmart. I'm so sad, because I love these things, but they haven't been available. So I'm just using like remnants of what I had on hand here. So I'm just kind of using my mat here to figure out where I want, like how far out I want my runners to look like they are and to make sure they're lined up the same height. After I adhered this part on, I'm going to attach my little snowflakes that I painted in the crimson color. These came from the Dollar Tree this year, and I'm just going to put those right along that little spot. Next, we're going to add some greenery. I think this is such a fun part because it really can elevate your projects to the next level. So I'm going to take some picks that I picked up either from Walmart or the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut a couple of them apart. And I'm just going to put them together with a little bit of hot glue, but I decided to go ahead and wrap some macrame cord in between. And I'm just using macrame cord because that's what I had sitting next to me. But you could use like twine or yarn or whatever you want. I just figured that this way it would attach better to my sign and have more like surface area to attach and really hold good. Then I'm going to keep cutting off little bits and pieces from different picks and just layering it up and keep, you know, like adding to my decorations here. So I found some large pine cones that I cut off, and it's funny because they kind of curve, which is what I was kind of going for with this little swag. So I wanted it to kind of curve down a little bit, kind of match the, you know, the curve of the sled. So it worked out perfect. And then I found, you know, just some berries, of course, and then I'm going to add like another pine cone here, and I found a little apple. So you really can just get creative and add anything that you want. Just, you know, keep adding until you are happy with how it looks. Once I was happy with my swag, I am just going to add some of this Dollar Tree black and white gingham ribbon to the back of my sled for either decoration or for hanging. And this is the final product. I really love how this one turned out. I think it is so pretty. I love the black and white with that pop of red. It just is so classic and just really screams Christmas to me, and I just adore it. If you're new to my channel or coming over from the playlist, my name is Sarah and I like to do farmhouse, cottagecore, and country style home decor on a budget. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you stuck around a while by hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like and comment on this video so that YouTube can notice me a little bit more. If you want to follow me on social media, I have an Instagram account and my friend Lisa and I have a fun Facebook group that anybody can join. For our third and final DIY of the day, I'm going to take one of these signs that I picked up from the Dollar Tree around Valentine's Day. But really, any sign that you want to use will work perfectly for this project. This project was inspired by Wendy over at White Sparrow Living. She created this adorable snowman scene and I really fell in love with it and thought I really want to make one of those for myself. So here we are. We're going to make a snowman scene. Hers was a lot bigger than mine, but I just wanted something a little bit smaller. So this is going to be a painting project. So for you that love to watch people paint, find it therapeutic, or just like to watch, then this is the perfect project for you to see today. I am going to just paint this scene. I will leave all of the colors and products that I use in my description box down below. And if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to always email me or message me and ask. I am really happy to help you out if you have any questions. So without further ado, I am just going to sit back and let you watch the painting process happen. I hope you enjoyed that process. So moving on with our sign, I'm going to take 2 5-gallon stir sticks that I cut down to 11 inches, and I'm going to give them a coat of this folk art stain, wood stain. And then once that's dry, I'm going to add my vinyl stencil, and it says "Love Never Melts." And I thought that this was perfect because, you know, he's a snowman and love never melts. But also, I added that cardinal in there, and cardinals are a sign that someone you love and miss is watching over you. And I just thought that was perfect, you know, like the perfect saying for this little sign. So, love never melts, and love never forgets, and love never leaves us. And everyone, you are loved. And if nobody told you that today, you are loved. So remember that. Then I found these stickers that I had, wood stickers from the Dollar Tree at Valentine's Day. And I also painted those with the lacquer from Waverly. And then I'm going to add these sticks, one to the top and one to the bottom of my sign. Next, I'm going to add a hanger. This is just jute twine. It's white that I get from Walmart. And I'm going to put a good amount of hot glue to attach that wood sign. And then I use Holly from Hot Humble Pie's method of attaching signs with the masking tape right over the hot glue. And that really does help. It seems to make a really sturdy sign. So here is a look at our sign. I love how this turned out. I had so much fun painting this. I really do enjoy sitting down and painting sometimes. It's very therapeutic and so fun. As always, let me know in the comments down below which project was your favorite from today. Also, make sure you go check out Sammy's channel, Unicorn Dust Designs, and the playlist from today. You'll find a lot of amazing inspiration, and you're not going to want to miss it. I hope you guys have a happy, healthy, and blessed day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!